Hello everyone, Pally7 here. Welcome back to Heroes of the Storm. In today's video, we have landed upon Sonya in our A through Z playthrough. Sonya's one of those characters that I've never been, like, really good at. I've tried, and I've actually been practicing her a lot lately, and I feel like I've gotten a lot better. But my overall impressions of the character is that she does well in normal team comps. So when you have a real warrior, she's more of a bruiser warrior, like a tank warrior. If you have a tank, support, and a few damage dealers, Sonya can round out that team beautifully. But I kind of feel like she's similar to Illidan in the regard that she needs that special attention from the support in order to really excel. With that being said, we're going to play her today in quick match. We're going to roll the dice and hopefully get a good matchup. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we find ourselves in the Tomb of the Spider Queen. Oh, I missed this map. I don't feel like I've played it in a month. It's been a really long time. At level 1, we're going to go for War Paint. I noticed something a little interesting today. And I mean a little interesting. It's not even that fascinating. When I was doing my warm-up games for Sonya, I noticed that every talent in her main build is focused on the sword icon. So level 1, we have War Paint. Level 4, we have Focus Attack. 7, we have Follow Through. 13, we have Mystical Spear, which is the only one in the tier that looks like a sword, even though it's a spear. I mean, I'll give you that one. That one's a little off. But then Nerves to Steel has 2 fucking swords in it, and Ignore Pain or Nexus Blades, both swords. So we're just going for sword talents, man. We're just going for fucking sword talents. She's just that kind of girl, you know what I'm saying? Now, at level 1, that War Paint talent that we did pick up is going to increase our sustain quite a bit. It's going to allow us to deal damage and heal off it, just like Vigorous Assault or Vampiric Assault or whatever that talent happens to be called depending on the patch that you are playing. Again, kind of a generic talent, not that exciting. Sonya did have a talent rework in the past year, or I wouldn't say it. It wasn't a total rework, but it was like they tried to make her talents, not the generic ones, but the ones specific to Sonya, they tried to make them feel a little bit more interesting. And unfortunately, I think it was a little bit of a failure because most Sonya builds just kind of default to these generic talents. But it's because they synergize so incredibly well together, and they kind of have become the backbone of her playstyle. Ooh, well, you almost had me. They kind of became the backbone of her playstyle. So you take War Paint at level 1, so every time you auto attack, it heals you. Then at level 4, you go for Focus Attack, so when you auto attack heroes, it hits them harder and heals you for more. Then you go for Follow Through at level 7, because your abilities have such low cooldowns, you're going to be able to be spamming them all the time and healing for quite a bit. I think we can out-trade this Kerrigan. I'm extremely confident in that, actually. There was no thinking involved. I need to be very mindful that this is a small map and I could be roamed on at any time. It's like I look at the mini-map! Oh, okay. Sonya's abilities, we have our Q, which is the Ancient Spear. This allows us to throw out this straight line skill shot. If it connects with the target, we will then propel ourselves into that target. Like this. See how he flew forward like that and I totally didn't miss the first time? Isn't that great? Our W ability, Seismic Slam, is targetable, and the main target takes more damage, but then it kind of splashes damage around to everything else in the area. So, I mean, it's a decent way of pushing a lane, but an even better way of pushing a lane is by using Whirlwind, which is our E ability. It costs a lot of fury to make happen, but it allows you to spin in an area. Whenever you deal damage to an enemy during Whirlwind, you are going to heal, and the healing is increased versus heroes. Now, Samuro was just introduced to the video game, and he is pretty strong. The idea behind Samuro is that you're making clones of yourself to fight enemy players. In a situation versus Sonya, she is able to just kind of spin and get a ton of healing off of all of those clones. So if you guys want to learn Sonya, this is one of the best environments to do it in quick match. simply because Samuro is pretty much going to be in every single game, and you have all the tools you really need to contend with him. I wonder if she'll land a combo on me. That would be exciting. Hey! But then we could just heal. It ain't no thing. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no thing. The region globe changes definitely help Sonya when they give more health back or percentage health back. That definitely helped her move in the right direction. The changes to focused attack, and follow through way back in the day. We kind of already talked about this with Jim Raynor. Those definitely helped her move in the right direction. Changes to imposing presence benefited her, but again, none of these are Sonya-specific changes that had a really big impact. They're just kind of changes to generic talents that also happen to do really well with Sonya. Now, I think Sonya is a jack of all trades. She's a warrior. She can absorb damage relatively well in the late game. She can deal massive amounts of damage like as if she was a melee assassin. I think she can contend with the Brawler Kerrigan any day of the week, even though she is classified as a warrior. She has great sustain. She has decent pushing ability. She's able to jungle, which is one of the things I really, really like on characters. At any point in the game, I could just kind of break off by myself. Ideally, you would want to do this when every lane is being soaked. Bottom's not being soaked right now. But I could just break off by myself and take this camp, and there's really no downside to that. There's no downside to that at all. We could do it without losing much health if I can actually micro properly. There we go. We're doing it now, team. Just spin. We wasted too much time as it is already. But ideally, she could do this without really taking much damage at all. I know I took a lot here. She can kill it relatively quickly and push lanes while her team is soaking XP. And also, you know, deny the enemy team from getting these mercenary camps. Very similar to Illidan in that regard. She could round out any team comp just by being in it, assuming you already have the pillars of the team comp in place. So things like a tank, a support, and damage dealers. Sonya can just add in more frontline to a team. That is very valuable. And she can also just deal, again, a massive amount of damage. When are you gonna combo me? Fine, I'll come to you then. Combo me already. I mean, that was a decent stun. All right. She does take some getting used to, though, because her sustain is relied on attacking a lot. Like, didn't move for that. Because you always have to be, like, super aggressive if you want to sustain, you do kind of have to learn the limits of what you can and cannot live through. Which does, you know, it just takes some effort. It just takes some time. We are going to go for Wrath of the Berserker at level 10. Now, I do prefer Leap, but in most situations, Wrath is going to be the better option. Now, that being said, versus an ETC, there certainly is a case for picking Leap, because we could jump on top of the ETC and interrupt a mosh pit if he does decide to go for that. But Sonya is incredible when she is ahead. She can do so much damage to targets when she's a higher level. And because we're a higher level right now, basically to me, that says that I want to go for Wrath of the Berserker and try to end their world. Look how fast, with our team and the objective, we are able to push down that building. Now we can just leave. Hi. Hajai. We could engage on this Kerrigan behind us, but I don't see any reason to. Now there might be a reason to. Wrath of the Berserker is a pretty unique ability as well, because it does have a a 60-second cooldown. That cooldown was actually increased a while back. It was only 45. It does have a 45-second cooldown, but because of the way the ability works, you can keep it up basically all the time in the right scenarios. So for instance, if you're able to constantly and consistently continue to deal damage while Wrath of the Berserker is up, then it will just stay active. Let me show that a little bit, because I could understand why that would be confusing. So here's Wrath of the Berserker and our bar at the bottom of the screen. Every time we generate Fury, which we do by attacking, landing the Spear of the Ancients, or taking damage, every time we do either of those things, it's going to kind of give us a little bit more time on Wrath of the Berserker. Now that we're done with this camp, you're going to see it's going to start to fall off just a little bit, but we can continue to keep this active just by attacking. And 30 seconds have passed on an ability that normally only has a duration of 15 seconds, because we were able to keep up this consistent damage. Now, the enemy team still does not have heroic abilities, and I'm feeling pretty safe down here in the bottom lane, and our friendly team is almost a talent tier ahead, so we should be able to push in here no problem. Wrath of the Berserker is still active with 10 seconds left on the cooldown, which means we've basically kept it up for an entire duration, which I think is pretty cool. We're going to push in here with these mercenaries, because I don't see any reason not to. Yeah, I mean, why not, really? Never mind. We should probably deal with their objective, huh? Yeah, let's go middle. We'll deal with their objective. Zarya's done 90,000 siege damage already. That's actually insane. The enemy team, they seem to be having a little bit of a hard time. Just a little bit of a hard time here. We'll go ahead and spin, get some health back here, gather those spider butts, slam into that bad boy, and take him down. So War Paint does scale with increased attack damage, which is why it is so good. With focus attack and follow through. And we could also go for Nexus Blades later in the game. We're feeling really good about ourselves, which would continue to increase the scaling of that healing every time we auto attack. Now, the bane of Sonya is burst damage, which is why a lot of her late game talents are kind of focused around the idea of alleviating this burst damage. So Nerves of Steel at level 16, what that does is it creates a shield for 30% of Sonya's maximum health around Sonya, and that allows her to mitigate a bit of damage. And then one step further, at level 20, we could go for Ignore Pain, which is basically a gigantic damage reduction that Sonya could give herself. That's an activatable ability and allows her to live through a lot. The enemy team Samuro's right here. He might engage on us, or I guess he won't. If he ever does engage on us, my entire plan is just to Whirlwind. And we can deal so much damage to him just by whirlwinding. It's actually pretty insane. We do have a 3-level lead and a talent tier advantage on the enemy team here, so we are looking pretty good, team. We're looking pretty damn good. I'm just gonna push this lane with the team. But one of the things I like about Sonya is you can see, like, I've been doing other stuff on the map while my team is pushing with an advantage, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. She excels at kind of just doing anything and everything. There's a possibility we could end the game here, but I kind of want to keep playing. So, I'm going to go over here and take this mercenary camp. Now, there is a right way to do this. You want to stand in a position where you have to kite one of these guys around. You see that guy kiting around? And then you want to put yourself in a corner so he has to kite around the other two. I can't seem to get it to work right. Bakery did a video about it. It's good. Good video. I can't get it to work on this map like ever. Looks like the enemy team was able to finally get a couple kills as we heavily overstayed our welcome in their base. But we are still 2 levels ahead on XP. We are ahead on objectives. I'm gonna go take this mercenary camp. Okay. Alright, we just chilling. Now, there is a Whirlwind build for Sonya that's not bad. This one is way more consistent, though. So the Whirlwind build for Sonya, you would take Hurricane at level 7, Ferocious Healing at level... Hurricane at level 4, Ferocious Healing at level 7, and then at... level 13, you would go for Life Funnel, and that allows you to heal for a lot while spinning. Now, the problem with this is that one of the most reliable ways for Sonya to leave an altercation is by using the Ancient Spear to disengage over a wall or something like that, and you basically give up that ability. Now, Wrath of the Berserker into a Whirlwind here, and you can see all of Samuro's burst damage has been completely negated, and we can just take him down just like that. It is so strong versus him. So incredibly strong versus him. And it would only get better if we did go for those Whirlwind towns. So you kind of have to pick your poison, I suppose. Do you want more sustain, assuming the enemy team doesn't crowd control you? Or do you want the ability to actually leave a confrontation? And for the most part, people opt for the ability to get out of fights. The Phantom Pain. It's a Metal Gear game, right? I mean, I probably shouldn't go too much further. We can pop Nerves of Steel and then Whirlwind on top of that minion wave to maintain our health. Fun fact, back in the day, Sonya could not pop defensive abilities while she was using Whirlwind. Her main way to get health back could not be used in conjunction with talents that stopped her from losing health. It was actually fucking fascinating. Pretty good wombo combo here for the enemy team, but again, we're just gonna go in with Whirlwind and try to live through all of it, and I think we did! Holy shit! Holy shit! I'm gonna go ahead and turn on my spider butts and head back to the base to heal. I'm gonna give credit there to Lily. I don't know if she did heal me or not. I was too busy having a panic attack to actually tell, but I'm going to assume she did all of that work there. The enemy team has done a fair bit of catching up on XP, and it looks as though they're starting to accumulate some kills too, closing the gap. My team's playing like we're still 3 levels ahead, which we are not. Mercenary camps are going to be back up in about 120 seconds. You know, this is what I enjoy doing on Sonya. And on Illidan, and to an extent on Thrall as well. I enjoy making sure that my team has mercenary camps taken all the time. I enjoy making sure that I'm denying things from the enemy team when I actually have the time to do that, and it's something that is really fun. Now this Medivh is pretty much completely out of mana, so we should be able to get a kill here, no problem. The enemy team's starting to reinforce. We're going to go ahead and pop Nerves of Steel and just start trading into their ETC, who's going to have a very hard time getting away from me. We're going to Ancient Spear back in and continue to do damage. The illusions of Samuro still hitting me pretty hard, so we are going to need to Whirlwind to try to stay alive. And I really thought I would get some healing from our healer, but you know... Wait, what? What? What was that? Anyone remember the Illidan bugs that used to happen where he would metamorphosis up into the air and then just hover above the enemy team? Had something to do with Void Prison messing that up. They don't have a Void Prison, so I wonder... I've never seen that bug. I wonder what caused it. I really do. But you see what I mean as far as, like, Sonya has a ton of tools to engage and do very, very well in team fights, but it kind of takes her team to be coordinated around her as well. I genuinely thought we had every advantage here, and I was doing well in that fight, and I survived a very long time just on my own skill set, just on my own abilities to stay alive. If the team had reinforced a little bit better, if we got some healing from our Lily, we could have easily overcome the enemy team there. But they weren't on the same page as me, and we lost because of it. And I think that is why Sonya's win rate is a little bit below average. It's not because she's a bad character. It's just that she takes a lot of coordination from her team and a lot of, like, your team needing to be on the same page as you. I think she's significantly better in a scenario where you have voice comms and you're able to communicate with your team and be like, I'm going in now. I'm still going in. I'm going in. I'm Sonya. This is what I do. But also, it comes with experience of knowing exactly what you can live through, knowing exactly which cooldowns the enemy team does still have available, and then reacting accordingly to that, which is something I clearly didn't do well enough there. Let's go ahead and try to take down the enemy team's spider. Now, we're basically just seismic slamming in between every auto attack to get that follow-through damage bonus. This is what we're doing in team fights too, and it's going to allow us to heal for a very significant amount of health if we continue to do it right. And as you can see, whenever we critically hit, you can see that 250 popping up. We are going to be healing for a critical amount as well. Which I think is pretty cool. Wrath of the Berserker being used on the enemy team's ETC. I'm going to continue to engage here, hitting the Kerrigan. And we're just going to try to keep up with them. The knockback is going to be enough to stop me in my tracks, but we can just clear this wave, grab these spider butts, and make our way down to the bottom lane to finish off this objective that the enemy team got. All in all, not a very good objective for the enemy team. Didn't get too much value, but it did give them a decent amount of XP. So they didn't kill too much with it, but they did manage to pull ahead in the XP game. The friendly team still kind of seems to be fighting in middle lane for reasons that are unbeknownst to me, but I do have enough spider butts to turn in to make the next objective happen. But first, I want to head down to the bottom lane and get this camp for the friendly team and get that pushing in the right direction as well. They should be able to turn in without me. Yeah, they have enough. So I'm just going to start this camp and camp first. Okay, they don't have enough without me. I totally miscounted. I'm going to get this camp. It's going to push bottom lane, and then it's going to make our objective push even stronger. That's the idea. All right, heading up. I'm going, team. They don't seem to be watching the bottom lane at all anyway, so we should just be able to put this right in. The enemy team is about to hit level 20, and we need to be very aware of that. We should be cautious right now. Beautiful. So this camp's going to push. The spider's going to push right with it, and we should be able to get a pretty good advantage. I'm going to go ahead and Ancient Spear on top of that ETC, interrupt that heroic ability, and just try to stick on top of this Medivh for as long as I can. We're going to be able to take him down there. I'm turning back around on Kerrigan now. We're trying to hold on to our Ancient Spear as long as possible. Fuck that. I'm tired of holding on to it. Let's deal some damage. Now turning on Tassadar. He should be able to get away from me, but just look how much burst damage we have with our follow through and focused attack on top of it. It's absolutely insane the amount of damage that a Sonya can do. It's fucking incredible. Now we do have the objective pushing. Middle is open. 4 members of the enemy team are dead. Where should we be? Team, we should be on the core. Now for some reason we have people in the bottom lane, we have people in the middle lane, not at the core. Don't really know what they're waiting on. They should be right here dealing damage. Looks like this will be the end of the game, so I'm going to go ahead and pick up Nexus Blades, just because I want to make sure that this is the final push and we kill the core in time. If I thought the fight was going to go on, if I thought the game was going to last longer, I would have gone for Ignore Pain at level 20, because it solves the main problem that Sonya has, which is burst damage from the enemy team. But that is Sonya in a nutshell. I think she's a pretty phenomenal character. She just needs a little bit of babysitting in order to succeed. I just love how, like, she can go out onto the map and just do what she thinks is the right thing to do. I'm gonna vote for myself, for I'm gonna leave. Bad-mannered as fuck. I took 7 mercenary camps. What did you all do? Very, very strong. Can round out any team comp. Again, I compare her a lot to Thrall because I think Thrall does very similar things, but Thrall probably has a better laning phase. The talents I use in today's video are incredibly standard, and if you want to pick up Sonya, it's a good place to start. We have War Paint, Focused Attack, Follow Through, Wrath of the Berserker, Mystical Spear, Nerves of Steel, and Nexus Blades. Again, the other option at level 20 would be Ignore Pain. Oh, excuse me. Up next, we're gonna have the King. Oh, yes. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.